Ladies and gentlemen, trainers of all types, drafters of all disciplines, welcome to the MagneZONE. I'm Cossack 11, and with me, as always, is Sam,
Hey,
Clutch, Clutch.
Hello. Here.
There we go.
that's the longest pause.
Yeah, and Adam.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about, well, I mean, what we usually talk about, at least as of recently, which is Alola International and the RDL. We are your source for updates on both of those leagues. And also, we'll be talking about free agent transactions. There's been a couple in Alola International. And we'll be talking about our Mon of the Week, which I'll reveal later. Or you can just look in the description and find out now, because I always post it in the description. I don't know why I bother to slow roll that anymore, because I always put it in the description, but I guess it's a test to see if you read it.
Who reads descriptions?
Exactly.
Who reads?
Exactly. So I feel justified in doing that. Anywho, so we'll start off with, as usual, with the RDL, and we'll move to Alola International. If you want to skip straight to Alola International, I'm going to start putting the time codes for that in the description.
Yep. Sounds perfect.
And if I forget to, one of the other hosts will put it in the comments section, and I'll pin it.
I always try to find it and include it with the link to the Alola International bunch. So look for it there if you don't want to listen to us talk about people that you may know playing in a different league.
But hopefully you're interested in our coverage of both leagues. I would like to think that we say at least, have some reasonable inferences that people would be interested in hearing. Anywho, starting with the RDL, week 7. That's right. We're starting to wind down here. We're over halfway now. We've kind of gotten over the hump.
Yep. The trade deadline is passed.
No, the trade deadline is week 10. But
the crazy trade frenzy is passed.
Yeah, the free agent frenzy is passed, and we are now into week 7. And we'll start off as usual with Akron, and it was Akron versus Liverpool. And I can tell you how this match went. It started off so well. It was such a promising start.
And took one abrupt turn.
Oh, yes. The train was going smooth. It was going great. And then somebody put dynamite on the rails, and the train was blown to Kingdom Come. And...
yeah.
Or, you know what? Actually, a more apt description would be to say that there was a rivet loose on the tracks, and that caused the train to, clip into it. And it was just all bad luck that caused the train to derail. But, seriously, though, what happened is, I won't get into the nitty-gritty details, but I was doing pretty good on reads early on in this match. And I managed to get 2 Calm Minds up on Comfey. And I'll read the team list first, because the context is important here. And Akron brought Mudsdale, Mega Altaria, Mamoswine, Miltank, Breloom, and Rotom Heat. I brought Jirachi, Entei, Comfey, Alolan Muck, Rotom Wash, and Serena. I lost 4-0. I shouldn't have, but I did. I had a couple good reads early on. I managed to get 2 Calm Minds up on Comfey, and then I got tricked choice specs while clicking Drain Kiss.
Why did you not get greedy? If you got greedy,
because I don't like getting greedy. And I was like, the reason he's leaving this in here is he's got something up his sleeve. So I was right.
It was a good play.
And
my over prep almost cost me.
Because
I prep past.
Comfey did significant damage to Rotom Heat. He swaps Rotom Heat out, puts in Miltank. Miltank body slams me and procs the para on the body slam. That's where the train starts wobbling a little bit here. Then I take out the Miltank with Comfey at this point, correct?
Yes.
You also used Heal Bell at this time to get Toxic off of
Mudsdale,
right. And then you bring in Mamoswine and the full para procs on Comfey, and then I get KO'd, which was sad. I was sad. But it wasn't overtly devastating. It's just sort of devastating. So I bring in Serena, Or no, was it you brought in Mega Altaria, then I brought in Sarina, right? I think that's what happened. Or no,
You brought in Rotom to revenge Mamo. I went Mega
right,
Altaria on the Hydro Pump.
right. And I didn't click Hydro Pump. I clicked Volt Switch,
Or yeah, you clicked Volt Switch.
and then brought in the Sarina on the Volt Switch, and clicked Play Rough, and it was
No, because I ate one Hydro Pump and then you Volt
oh right.
Switched
Then
as
I
a
Volt
sub.
Switched, and you set up
Mhm.
sub. Right, you set up sub on Mega Altaria. I swap in Sarina, and it's banded Serena. I'm like, I'm gonna get this play rough off. And as soon as I clicked it, I knew the result that happened would happen, which is that I missed. And then he set up Dragon Dance and then swept my team.
Yep. See, the fun thing is that this is another week of me seeing both teams for MagneZONE coaches. And the thing was that I looked at Adam's team and I looked at Cossack's team, and like it was really a game of like who could pull off the sweep first in a way, because Mega Alt with a couple of D dances, there's just not an answer for it. And they're like in Cossack, you didn't really have like something for Mega Alt with
No,
two or three.
I was hoping to nail
it's
it
hard to
before
have
then.
something.
I was
Yeah,
hoping
exactly.
to nail it before then.
And similarly, yeah, if it was funny because I remember looking at the teams and I thought to myself that the one way that Comfey gets stopped here is if it gets parried by Miltank. And the funny thing, the
Yeah.
awful thing for Cossack is that that's what happened.
Whitney came through.
Whitney always comes through.
Whitney
Fuck
was too
Miltank.
thick with it.
Fuck Miltank.
One slam
Miltank has been
from
the
that
bane of
thick
my
bite.
existence for the
Oh,
entirety of my Pokemon career.
Oh, always. Miltank is awful.
So
Alright.
yeah, that
Miltank's
pretty much
God.
sums that up. Moving on to the next match, which is Brooklyn versus San Antonio Sceptiles.
Good match.
This is a good match. Brooklyn brought Crobat, Mega Venusaur, Suicune, Silvally. Which Silvally did he bring?
It was
What?
I think it was Fairy.
Fairy, okay. You
Fairy.
didn't need to dial the gain up on your microphone. You just needed to dial your sensitivity up on Discord, dude.
So,
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Ditto picked 3 kills up. That was pretty sweet.
Ditto went in this game.
And the San Antonio brought Lucario, Bronzong, Thundurus T, Mega Latios, Cofagrigus, and Crocodile.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that happened.
Yeah, Ditto did a lot. It prevented Dominator from ever really feeling like he could set up,
Mm-hmm.
and that really showed. I mean, in a way, it's funny because you watch Dominator's play, and it's like it seems like he really did have in mind that Ditto's there,
Yeah.
and that it like you can't calm mind up too much with your, like with your Mega Latios, and you can't really set up with Luke or whatever when there's something with a scarf waiting in the back to just switch in and start taking lives.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. That's how Ditto racked up the 3 kills. If I recall correctly, it ended up finishing off Dominator's team after it transformed into Lucario.
Makes sense. So yeah, that's how that went down. Moving on to the next match, we have Chicago versus the Seattle Supersonics.
Still coached by Clutch.
Still coached by Clutch at this point. Chicago's brings Espeon, Shaman, Rhydon, Mega Sharpedo, Flygon, and Blacephalon. Seattle brings Infernape, Vikavolt, Goodra, Staraptor, Starmie, and Gramble. And I see that Staraptor has 3 kills. I'm assuming it Brave Birded everything.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Like that end game was essentially just me clicking Braber with Staraptor and claiming lives.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
play. Staraptor is honestly a fantastic mon.
Yeah.
It really is. It's one of those Pokemon that like once you put it on a team, you realize how good it is.
Staraptor is the bird that Talonflame wishes it was.
I think that especially that Pidgeot wishes it was if it didn't have
yeah.
that Mega.
Right. Yeah. That's also true. It is basically just It is basically the middle ground between Mega Pidgeot and Pidgeot.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I figured like Staraptor is kind of like if you took Mega Pidgeot and infused it with like Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo.
I mean, look at the
Do the Brave Bird with me.
Yeah, there we go.
Surprisingly accurate.
Johnny
Yeah.
Bravo used Brave Bird.
It's super effective. Everything died.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so-
dark.
I'd say, and yeah, I don't think I convinced Clutch to do this, but he did it anyway. He brought Z Gravity Starmie, but it didn't really get to do much.
Yeah, I was afraid of like Espeon being like Scarf. Because I led Infernape on the Espeon,
Yep.
and I was afraid of like Scarf Espeon just taking Infernape out turn one. It's like that's probably not a good idea. So I switched it out, and I had to deal with a Calm Mind Espeon. My best way of dealing with that was Starmie, because it was kind of the most expendable at that point. So Sea Gravity Starmie did literally nothing.
Yeah.
Even though it probably would have swept.
So moving on to week 7, we have EC versus Pittsburgh. Now this was Numa's debut battle, right?
Correct.
And what a debut it was. He brought Mega Pinsir, Porygon 2, Klefki, Conkeldurr, Latias, and Gastrodon. Pittsburgh brought Keldeo, Uxie, Excadrill, Chestnut, Rotom, and Togekiss. And Mega Pinsir picked up 4 kills this match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit
Did
more about
Mega
that.
Pinsir things.
Essentially, like the early game was really tough for Numa to get out of because he didn't have really good drill answers. But once he got an opening to force drill out of the way, he really just kind of picked up the game. And just once Mega Pinsir got in on this team, it was really not easy for Rich to come out of it.
Yeah, I think I told you, Clutch, like when we were talking about this game, that I was like, man, Rich kind of misses T-Tar this game. Like,
yep.
For Mega Latias being a problem, for Mega Pinsir being a problem, like a Scarf T-Tar right now, that would have been a good
real nice.
I mean, even on a team that has Kong, like
yeah,
Scarf could have gone. I mean, Scarf revenges Latias. Scarf with the right predictions hits P2 for quite a bit of damage.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of things that could do for him, but he got caught as well. Like with to Meta's credit, and in Meta's case here, I mean New Meta. To New Meta's credit, he played Gastrodon really well around Keldeo.
He did.
Yeah, and this was interesting because like Rich got when we were talking about this, like Rich got Excadrill in early on Meta's team and just was clicking free earthquakes and taking
Because
stuff
there was no answer. Yeah.
no answer exactly, but like, and that's the other thing that he misses T-Tar for is that if that thing was faster than the entirety of Meta's team, once again new Meta's team, then there just would have been no answers for it, and he could have just EQ'd everything.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
So not a bad debut for our newest addition to the coaching staff, and
Our newest edition.
Continuing an average, yeah, the new meta, the newest edition,
and moving on to the next battle, which hasn't happened yet. That's Galesburg versus Oregon, but I don't think we covered Galesburg versus Ohio last week, did we?
We did not.
We didn't get a chance to because it hadn't been played yet.
So this is the perfect opportunity to talk about the week 6 battle of Galesburg versus Ohio, and that was a match.
Oh my goodness, what a match that was. So
first of all, the brings. Galesburg brought Gliscor, Empoleon, Megalopony, Necrozma, Sneasel, Tornadus Incarnate, and Ohio brought Lando T, Claydol, Ferrothorn, Megalatias, Keldeo, and Galvantula. The score was 1-0 in favor of Galesburg, and let me tell you, man, the Megas were just bringing in the kills this match.
Yeah, Lob versus Lati. It was a crazy matchup, dude, because They I mean, even when it finished, like, what was the last man standing?
It was a Gliscor. It was a Gliscor.
At like what, 15% health?
It was a. I think it just was like around 50 because it just clicked roost at the end of the game.
Oh, that's right. It just clicked roost to
If
finish
you
things
if
out. That's
you
right.
if you need a mon to clutch in your end game, Gliscor is an excellent option for that.
Neek played Gliscor around that end game so beautifully.
Gliscor is an excellent endgame mon in my opinion, due to its like the way its stats are distributed, its abilities, its typing, and its move sets. It generally thrives very well in in very close endgame situations.
I think the biggest reason for that, honestly, is because
Michael didn't have Ice Beam.
Michael didn't have Ice Beam on Megalodius, but like in general, the reason that Gliscor thrives really well in situations where you get down to like 3v3s is because that's a much higher chance than that the coverage that they brought to hit Mega Gliscor is out of play.
Yeah.
Mega Gliscor? Hello.
Wow. Jeez.
Oh,
okay.
could you imagine?
I got out of 4 hours of testing, guys. If you want to talk shit about how many mistakes I make tonight, be my guest.
I mean, I've already made mistakes today.
Yeah,
so.
it's fine. Yeah, no, I think Gliscor benefits from.
Yeah. Well,
Gliscor likes to be in close quarters because, like, it looks to be more like from like the damage rolls. It looked to be more like Spadef oriented Gliscor can take on Megalodios just so well.
Mm-hmm. That's a good bring. I mean, Neek's a smart player like that. I mean, and it's crazy to think that this is probably like if we had to pick favorites in the conferences right now, this could be the finals matchup.
Yeah, Neek hasn't lost yet.
Nope.
6-0.
Yeah. Jeez. Neek's playing a spectacular season so far.
I think I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast, but Gliscor's one of those mons that's as good as a user.
Yeah,
that's true.
And if you have a good, and I think Neek is one of those people that can use Gliscor to those full potentials.
Yeah, I've managed to use Gliscor to its full potential once, and that was in one of my wins in Season 2. In particular, the win I picked up against Nadia. I think I used it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the next match down the line, which is the Chargebugs, LA Chargebugs versus the San Jose Sharpedos. And the brings here, Whimsicott, Slurpuff, Mega Blastoise, Kecleon, Cresselia, and Nidoqueen from Los Angeles. San Jose brought Mega Gyarados, Victini, Blastoise, Sylveon, Garchomp, and Mean Shao. And it was almost kind of a battle of the Blastoises in a way. Not gonna lie. I mean, Blastoise for San Jose picked up 2 passive kills.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Blastoise picked up a kill. The victory went to the San Jose Sharpedos 3-0. Yeah, I didn't watch this one. Who watched this one?
I did.
I did
again.
well.
Clutch, tell us more.
If you want a good lesson on how to play your WinCon, this is kind of that game.
It's true. Yeah.
Just if you look at this game and you can see a really aggressively played WinCon that didn't end up paying off because meta goes for game like pretty early. Like I think Victini goes down, they send in Whimsicott, Mementos, goes in the Slurpuff, which is the bad HP number, which I don't think necessarily mattered, as I said, because Hive made a really nice scout to go Blastoise on a potential Memento, and just throws a Toxic, hits the Toxic, Belly Drum goes off, doesn't, and Hive has the tools to play around the turns Belly Drum while the Toxic goes. And
yeah, Blastoise is actually like a really, really key player, like the regular Blastoise on Hive's team. Because one of the things that he did that I really liked was switching it in when there was one layer of Toxic spikes up. It was his removal, and he sends it in when there's one layer because he would rather have it regular poisoned than Toxic. That's a smart play.
That is a good play.
And then doing things like, once he gets what's his face, the Cupcake Toxic, Slurpuff is
He
what it's called.
jets.
Yep, he jets. He gets damage on it.
Nice
and
8% damage.
And then he sacks things all around to like save the things that he's relying on to win.
He makes smart sacks.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like that's a thing. Like when you're trying to stall out somebody who's set up in front of you, you have to look at your team and be like, all right, can I decide like which two of my mons I can still win with? That's a skill.
As someone who like, because this is like at this point in the battle, it's kind of an attrition battle because he's trying to wear him down so he can bring his win con in. And whenever you're playing an attrition battle and against someone who manages to set up on you, that's what you're thinking. It's literally what can I afford to lose? What is the least damaging to die here?
What's the bare minimum I can win with?
Right.
Yeah, and that's something that you should be. I mean, really, I'd say like
always mindful.
Yeah, you should always be considering that when you like you know looking at the opponent's matchup. One weird bring here was the curse.
Curse Sylveon.
Yeah, kill Sylveon. I was gonna call it Silvally, but yeah, Sylveon. That was kind of crazy. And also, here's a question for you, because Clutch, you and I both watched this. Like, do you think that the toxics?
I don't think those mattered.
You don't think those mattered?
I think it regardless. +1 puts it in range of any attack that Garchomp can go for. I think Crest ends up taking too much chip to take on the rest of the team.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The one play I could see doing there is I think he should have switched Crest out.
He could have.
He should have gotten the toxic, and when he was still at full health,
preserved it.
Yeah, preserved it, because that was like the one thing that could set up and win.
Yeah.
But, like I think it would have just turned into a stall battle, especially if that wasn't like Calm Mind Crest.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was, just because like knowing meta, he would have gone for it.
Hold on, I have this team.
Oh yeah. Do we want to talk about his sets on air too much? Like if we actually
never mind.
No,
yeah,
let's not set that precedent. But I think you're right in the sense that if he had Calm Mind, he would have went for it. Meta likes to go for the setup as early as possible, so I'm almost certain he would have used Calm Mind
back to like the whole
once.
Playing your win cons. That is a great lesson in playing your win cons well.
Yeah.
Because you can very much get overzealous and like, hey, I'm going to go for game right now.
Yeah. I think he was too committed to the idea of mementoing, because really the play of the game where there was the fact that Blastoise came in on the memento and then he went Slurpuff and Blastoise Toxics. If like any other sequence of plays and that maybe doesn't
work out. But
even then he didn't, like, he still had the odd HP, which is a bad mistake. Like, he wouldn't have been able to set up in front of other things. Anything that would have done 50% to him was going to do 50%. So, ready to move on?
We shall.
I actually think we've covered all the battles that have happened this week.
Yep. Excellent.
Because there's only 5 that have happened so far, correct? And we've covered 5 week 7 battles. And I'll quickly go down. Los Angeles,
1 week 6, of course.
And 1 week 6. The Los Angeles Solgalios versus Rochester Roggenrollas, that hasn't happened yet.
Andrew's out of the country.
Right.
Come back soon, Andrew. We need you to listen to the podcast.
And what was the other one that hasn't? There's another one that hasn't been battled. I don't remember what it was. Philadelphia, right?
Yep.
Well, that was a forfeit.
That was a forfeit,
right? Which is why we didn't report on it, right? And that was Philadelphia versus Ohio.
The other one is Oregon.
Right.
Oregon
and Galesburg.
Right.
Yeah,
that's looking to be a fun one too.
That could be fun. I don't know the status of the game.
We did mention that one earlier, though. We mentioned that with Galesburg.
Does that one have an extension or something?
I'd assume so.
I would assume so. Neek seems pretty good about like
getting matches done.
Well, and like he's probably let Mike know about an extension. Either him or Ballistic, both are pretty good about that sort of thing.
I mean, Ballistic was a little bit streaky season 1, right? We talked about
season 2.
Yeah, sorry. Well, yeah, the previous season, I should say.
Yeah.
His first season, like his only losses during the regular season were forfeits. I think he had 2.
Yeah.
I mean, he's disappeared before, but that's, it might just be like busy with back to school stuff, like whatever.
And
We'll probably see that
yeah.
game.
With
Yeah,
that, with that, we move on to week 3 of Alola International. Flip the tape over to side B to hear more. I assumed you flipped the tape over to side B, and now no, I'm just kidding. Here we go. That dated me really bad.
I was about to say
didn't it?
the audience won't get that joke, Cossack.
Well, see, there's these things that are like these little plastic cartridges that had little strips of tape in them. No, I'm
Back in my day.
back in my day. All right, so week 3, and the first match we'll be covering is the Lowland Quakes versus Waynesboro Gallades. And the Quakes brought Caesar, Entei, Megalatias, Piloswine, Rotom, Nidoking versus the Gallades, who brought Alolan Ninetales, Tapu Koko, Tornadus T, Jellicent, Mega Gallade, and Roserade. Now, as we all know, if Mega Gallade gets a Swords Dance up, it just wins every time, hands down.
Oh, no.
But I guess it didn't in this case. Who watched that battle?
I did. I think Sam I watched it as
Okay,
well.
both of you watched it. Okay, well, give us the details. The win, by the way, went to the Quakes 2-0.
The game came down to the fact that like Ethan's team does not have a Megaladias answer.
Does he not
At
have
all.
a dark type?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So
That is an issue.
I think so. What Grounded ended up running was Calm Mind, Recover, Refresh, Stored Power, and
Youch.
once Ethan lost Encore on Ninetales, like it was just over at that point.
Yeah, that's a fire set against a team that doesn't have a dark type.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this we were like, this was a PCL topic for Clutch and I, but like, if you don't have a dark type, you're inviting the vast array of bulky psychics in this game to set up and mono attack you to death.
Yeah.
Even if you do have a dark type, sometimes they'll still just bring mono psychic stab.
Well, because look at the things that
yeah,
we've
Clutch
seen,
got that one.
Look at the things we've seen set up sweep before: Megalatias, Cresselia, Jirachi, Hoopa
Reuniclus.
Unbound,
Shut up.
Reuniclus.
There was a 6-0 with a Reuniclus in PCL this week, and it was because a dude had a dark type and didn't bring it.
And that
Mistake.
Sounds familiar.
That's one of those things.
Okay,
like,
but Adam, you have a brain. The dude who did that this week probably doesn't.
Anyway,
Oof.
let's not get into that too much on the podcast.
Fair
Yep.
enough.
So yeah, dark type pretty important to have on your team. And like we just mentioned, there's a lot of big heavy hitting psychic types, and like depending on your league, like Tapu Lele is legal, which I mean dark type doesn't help with that very much, but still.
Yeah, Tapu Lele should not be allowed in any league format.
It should.
In my fully honest opinion,
It really shouldn't, considering how you've managed to take a utter trash team with Tapu Lele on it so far, almost to the playoffs in a league.
I'm one win away from playoffs.
Yeah, so
There you go.
we won't get into that too much. Moving on to the Brooklyn Bennetts versus the Los Angeles Lookers. This is a close battle.
Very good battle.
Yeah, the Lookers brought Miltank, Gengar, Garchomp, Shaman, Celesteela, and Primarina. Brooklyn brought Thunderous T, Simisear, Mega T-Tar, Starmie, Excadrill, and Weezing. Take it away.
You know, you don't get to say this often, but without late game rocks from Garchomp from Jarrett, Simisear would have actually sealed the game for Slimy. Because it came down to Simisear. It was hold on, let me think. I just watched this a second ago. It was Celesteela v Garchomp took out Excadrill with Earthquake. Garchomp got revenged by something, it's slipping my mind right now. Celesteela ends up in KOing some Mon with an Earthquake. I think it was Starmie. Starmie Revenge Garchomp, but Jarrett read the switch into Starmie and clicked Rocks. And the Rocks proved big because Simisear couldn't come back in and finish off Celesteela.
Smart play. Yeah,
It was really close.
yeah. And Simisear put in crazy work.
Simisear did like 110 points of damage to a Garchomp with a Fire Blast.
Ooh,
That's not bad. That's a lot of damage.
It did a
lot
lot
of
of
damage.
that bar just kept dropping, and I was like, holy shit. Simisear might be a good mon.
Yep. 98 in both attack stats.
Yeah,
And access to Nasty Plot.
yeah, it's
Ooh.
not bad.
And Gluttony? Interesting.
Anyway, yeah, so I think that about covers it for that match, or is there anything else you wanted to go over
Yeah.
there? No? We're good?
Go ahead.
That's good.
So, moving on to our next match, which is the Crane Lake Conkeldurers. I'm sure I just pronounced that Crane Lake, but whatever. Versus the LA Chargebugs, a team that we are all familiar with.
Hi, Meta.
Hello.
So, this one went to the Chargebugs 2-0. Chargebugs brought Porygon 2, Salamence, Mega Beedrill, Cryogonal, Dugtrio, and Comfey. Crane Lake brought Mega Pidgeot, Crocodile, Arcanine, Bronzong, Jirachi, and Tapu Bulu. And Sam, was it you who watched this one?
No, it was also me.
Clutch watches a lot of these. Clutch is really pulling his weight around here at the MagneZONE.
For once.
Well, I mean, I would watch more, but I'm moving, like in the process of moving.
You know. Essentially, this kind of came down. Was this one of the bigger March's battle? Essentially, the fact that Bronzong was so beyond weakened that it could not end up dealing with Mence.
Mm-hmm.
And like this, it's really the beginning of this game was really odd to me. Like there's a lot of plays that kind of just went,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm not sure how Arena Trap entirely works. Because I don't know the whole mechanic. I don't know if Levitate Mons are trapped by Arena Trap.
They are not.
Yeah, so Meta brings in his Dugtrio and clicks Shadow Claw twice on a Levitate Mon, which is in this case is Bronzong,
Mm-hmm.
and gets it down to like
Yeah.
And then it switches?
no, and then it dies.
If I may
Oh.
interject real quick, I'll read off the Bulbapedia for Arena Trap just to give everyone kind of a full clarification for how this thing works. Arena Trap prevents all grounded foes from fleeing, including teleport or switching out, as long as the user remains in battle. Using Baton Pass, U-Turn, Volt Switch, or Parting Shot will still cause the Pokemon to switch out. Holding a Shed Shell allows the Pokemon to switch out, but not flee or teleport. Having the ability Run Away or holding a Smoke Ball allows the Pokemon to flee or teleport, but not switch. If a wild Pokemon has Arena Trap, and we'll skip this part because it has to do with wild Pokemon.
So in simple, Arena Trap is anything. If you're off the ground, it's fine.
Well-
if you have Shed Shell, you're fine. And if you're a Ghost type, you're fine.
Yeah, if you're a Ghost type, you're fine. Yeah. Actually, I don't see anything that says anything about Levitate here.
Yeah, I like to Levitate. Levitate.
Oh, okay.
Pokemon, it's unaffected by the effects of Arena
'Cause
Trap spikes, T-spikes.
Okay, because
take
it
you a
doesn't
Rotom,
say that for Arena Trap, but it does.
Yeah,
Okay, but it does say it
yeah.
on the Levitate.
Levitate page.
Excellent.
So if you're off the ground, you're immune to Arena Trap. So I don't know if Etsuki knew that, but it was kind of an odd thing to try and move one.
It's a weird interaction to
Yeah.
be sure.
So like in losing all that health on Song meant he was really weak to Mence, and Mence ends up coming in, setting up a Dragon Dance and winning the game. On what my opinion was a really risky setup turn for Meta, because he sets up on a Mega Pidgeot, which could.
That kind of
Very-
characterizes Meta, though. Meta likes risky setups.
However, like just even in general though,
I mean,
it was a role for Hurricane to kill.
that's
There was a
true.
role that Meta
I'm not saying that it was necessarily the most optimal move. I'm just saying
Absolutely, yeah.
it's a move that I would wholeheartedly expect Meta to make.
He
That's
may have
fair.
also been more confident in setting up that turn because he knew his own bulk investment And
That's true.
Yeah.
There's definitely a bulk investment unless you live
Yeah.
all the time.
And a lot of that, and and I think that in some ways Meta's still feeling out like when he can set up. Like I do on the balance. Like I mean, we just talked about it with the RDL. He was a little over aggressive with his win con there, but when it pays off big.
Hmm.
And he's very willing to take that gamble, which
Yeah.
is why, and a lot of times that being willing to take that gamble really pays off for him. So
Hmm.
there's something to be said for making aggressive gambles.
Mhm.
It works more often than you'd think, especially in draft league. So yeah, I think that sums that up pretty well. We'll move on to the next matchup, which is the Atlanta Altaria, which is Nadia's team, right?
Yep,
Okay.
that is correct. Nadia
And
versus
the
Earthlab.
Earthlab with the Colorado Agrons.
Want to read the team list?
Yep. The Agrons had Heatran, Zygarde 50%, Mega Manectric, Slurpuff, Mesprit, and Hitmonlee. Atlanta brought Mismagius, Venomoth, Incineroar, Thunderous Eye, Goodra, and Mega Lopunny. And the Altarias took it 2-0.
Yep. It was a close match. I think I discussed this with Nadia a little bit. Like both of us agreed, like she made some mistakes in playing, but I think that her opponent or Flab made a couple of mistakes too here and there. A couple like odd switch-ins, a couple like weird spots to stay in, and things like that. And really, like she's pulled through pretty well these last 2 weeks, bringing some like interesting stuff. The thing that's been really good for her, or certainly was good for her last week, was T-Spikes, and she brought it again here, which I thought was amazing recognition. Urflab only has one hazard removal mon, and it's Hitmonlee. And Hitmonlee is not like consistent.
No, because it can be
Removal.
spin blocked. Anything with if you're relying on rapid spin as your sole removal, you're running a risk there because like any opponent with a ghost type, like Frostlass just straight up stops you from spinning out its own spikes.
Yeah, I mean that's what made Frostlass really great back when rapid spin was the only way to remove hazards.
All right,
And
everybody check off like Gen 5 ladder strats from Sam on your bingo cards.
Gen 5 nostalgia is my thing. Hazard stacking back in the day was a fantastic strategy because it was so hard to remove. Anyways, the thing is that but like Nadia recognizing that she had a good spin blocker in Mismagius, and the only thing Urflab could do to get rid of spikes was to bring Hitmonlee, which he did, was fantastic. The thing, like, I think that where she kind of like, still kind of needs to grow and learn, how to play, was that she set 2 layers of T-Spikes when Stealth Rock was already up on her side, and then pretty quickly went to her Defogger to disperse it.
Oh, yeah.
And so the T-Spikes, and Urflab, meanwhile, switched to Heatran. So she got 2 layers of T-Spikes on the dude, but they did nothing. And she ended up kind of, I'd say, getting a little bit lucky in that, for whatever reason, I kind of had the soul read on this. Like, I had the thought that maybe Coil Zygarde would be coming. And sure enough, it was there. And of course, Coil Zygarde kind of hates T-Spikes.
Yeah.
But she managed to pull it out. She had Lopunny in the back. She was able to Z Memento with Mismagius to heal up her Lopunny, which then KO'd the Zygarde with Ice Punch. And then Assault Vest Goodra finished off the last Mon that was Mega Manectric. So
Very nice.
Nadia's, I mean, to Nadia's credit, I think she's still learning kind of like how to build and how to make some kind of mid-game plays and kind of, how to keep things in mind, but she's had a couple games recently where she's gotten down to the wire at the very end, has managed to keep her like win con in sight and not give it up.
I think her like end game kind of clutch play has gotten pretty good.
Yeah, better certainly.
Moving on from that, we get to the Alola Archers versus the Kyoto Klefkis. Now, I watched this match, and it was a 2-0 win for the Archers, and the Archers brought Lando T, Decidueye, Keldeo, Excelgor, Magmortar, and Mega Gardevoir. The Kyoto Klefkis brought Mega Latios, Machamp, Metagross, Stakataka, Gyarados, and Weavile. So first things first, I think the biggest reason that Kyoto didn't win is, and I'm not going to say, like, I don't know what set they should have brought per se, because I think there's a couple different ways they could have gone about this. I think the Mega Latios set they brought was not optimal. They were running, I don't think they were running any bulk. From what I could see, it looked like it was your standard max special attack, max speed Mega Latios. And maybe I'm wrong. It was kind of tough to tell because the Archers don't, other than Excelgor, the Archers don't exactly have a super fast team. So it was tough to kind of discern from that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like it had very much bulk investment, though, judging by the damage it was taking. It did pick up 3 kills. It was running Psychic, Ice Beam, Defog, and Roost. And I think if he had subbed in, he didn't even need to change his EVs. I think if he had just put Calm Mind in instead of Defog, he probably would have won. Because there was a couple opportunities where he could have gotten a free Calm Mind, and once he gets that Calm Mind up, like, there's not much on the Archers team that stops that.
What hazards was he afraid of from Alola and Archers? Like, what are their hazard setters? Excelgor?
Well, he had Excelgor and Lando T, and he set rocks twice with Lando T, and the rocks took their toll, but only because he switched Latios in and out multiple times in them. And like there was an instance where he could have clicked Defog and taken maybe 2 switch-ins worth of less of rocks damage.
Gotcha.
But it was, I mean, really I will say though, credit to Eclipse, that guy can play an attrition battle, and he played it out well. It was only 29 turns, which doesn't sound like a lot, and it isn't, but it was very much an attrition battle for the first, like, 2/3 of this. Stakataka kind of got sacrificed because he threw it in against a Keldeo, or Keldeo got switched into it and he left it in. I don't remember which. But either way, it was kind of a weird move. Like, Stakataka, I feel like he just kind of tossed Stakataka into the meat grinder to get a free switch in or something.
I mean, I feel like that's Staka's fate sometimes, right?
It really kind of is. I don't know if this is a team that he should have brought Staka against.
Yeah, you get Staka's funny
because Keldeo like deals with it. Lando can pack moves that deal with it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think it was a good move against this team.
It's true. A team with Keldeo and Lando is not necessarily a great matchup for Staka.
No, because like Earthquake ruins it. Surf ruined it. I mean, Sacred Sword would have ruined it, or whatever. So, but he had some form of Flame Orb set on Machamp. I didn't get to see what moves Machamp used because he kind of just used his switch-in fodder as a pivot. There's a lot of back and forth switching. I didn't really get to see a lot of the move sets because, like I said, Clips was playing a very good attrition game. He was keeping those rocks out, and he saw his opportunities for the rocks and took them very well. And that's kind of what you have to do when you're running an attrition battle against a guy who's using their Mega Latios as a defogger, is you just kind of have to wait for your moments to get those hazards in and just get them in when you can and just try to do your best to keep them up. Because like a lot of people would have, as soon as that defog happened, would have said like, well, Lando T isn't really doing a whole lot after the rocks or whatever, I'll just sack it, right? Not everyone, but enough. There are people who will do that.
No, sure.
But Eclipse didn't do that, and Eclipse recognized that there was an opportunity to set rocks again and took it, and it helped. It got a lot of chip damage in Latios, put it back down into OHKO range for pretty much everything on his team.
Mid-game rocks are underrated.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a reset.
Metagross wasn't really much of a presence here. Gyarados wasn't a presence because he was packing on Mega Gardevoir. He was packing Thunderbolt and just destroyed that Gyarados. And yeah, so it was a good attrition battle. I think just that Latios set is really what did Kyoto in. At the end of the day, I think if he had brought a more aggressive Latios set, he might have been able to control the pace of the battle a little bit more. Or even if he used the set he had a little more aggressively, he was not exactly willing to leave that in very much. Moving on to our next battle, which is Huddersfield Heracross versus the Virginia Caesars.
Yeah, that's one that I watched.
Yep, and
I'll
read the lists off real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Huddersfield had Salazzle, Mega Venusaur, Latios, Melodic, Hoopa Unbound, and Gliscor. Virginia had Alola Persian, Galvantula, Emboar, Espeon, Nidoqueen, and Mega Altaria.
Yeah. Another case of Gliscor showing up and doing good things. Once again, as Clutch mentioned earlier, Gliscor really is kind of as good as the person using it, and Oliver honestly is pretty good. I feel like the thing that stood out to me about this battle was that Ace was actually making good reads. Like, he had a rough first 2 weeks, and I think for me, I was like, well, is this guy is he gonna be good? Like, it's his first season in the league. I was just kind of trying to figure it out. And to me, this game showed me that it's like, oh, he actually does try and make reads. He does try and go for plays when he feels like he can get something. I think that he would have been better served in turning some of his predictions of switches into double switches, forcing more switches on Oliver, because Oliver had these bulky mons like Milotic and Mega Venusaur, who would come in, take 30% from a move, and then just recover it off. Really what this came down to is Oliver had the bulk, and Ace wasn't quite keeping track of it. He wasn't able to switch and come in and force out the bulk before it could recover or before it could fire off a Giga Drain or a Scald.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's what I've got to say.
All right, well, let's move on then to our the next battle down the line, which is Akron Absols versus the California Kyogres. Kyogres take it 3-0. We have for Akron, Lando I, Meloetta, Silvally. What type of Silvally were you running?
I think Adam might be.
I had... Hold on, I don't remember. I have to go back to my prep. I had Fighting.
Okay, Silvally Fighting, Infernape, Mega Caesar, and Mimikyu versus the Kyogres running Xurkitree, Mega Garchomp, Kyurem Black, Empoleon, Staraptor, and Seismitoad. Now, if I recall correctly, Adam, you didn't want to say much about this battle. So if you have anything you kind of want to get out of the way about the battle, go for it. You have the floor.
I mean, it's all summed up by that one text post, but I'm not gonna
get
read
into
through
that.
all
Yeah.
that.
So basically,
it was me making reads of what I thought would happen, and what others watched the battle and thought would happen, and completely different. The sets were Life Orb, Bulky, and Empoleon. That pretty much summarizes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it can be tough. That's the thing with Draft League is you plan for the sets that are most likely going to come, and I would say with a fair amount of within a fair amount of accuracy, I'm going to say probably about 85% of the time you'll be right, and those are the sets that are coming. If for those mons,
Or usually you'll know like it'll be like
right.
one of
a
two or
couple different
one
sets.
of two sets.
Every so often, though, someone brings in, and this happens in Draft League frequently, where someone will bring in one or two, sometimes even more sets that just are completely off the wall. And since they're so off the wall, that usually means one of two things. They either get dirted out and 6-0'd, or they dirt you out.
I think that to an extent, there's a little bit, like amongst experienced players, there's a little bit of a stigma about like bringing unconventional sets that is not unfounded.
Yeah,
because
it's
honestly, everyone who
because
everyone who comes into this community at first is kind of like, oh my gosh, I just discovered this amazing set. I'm going to run like, they have their favorite mon and they come up with something that they think it's going to be like make it viable. Like they think they just came up with the next Crocoon set, and inevitably, it's just garbage.
Right.
Like,
and
so
everyone goes through that phase. Everyone goes through that phase.
Yeah, everyone's like,
extent.
This thing that's not viable, I can make it viable. No, you can't.
Or like this thing can.
If it was
like,
viable, people would use it.
Or like, I can break this thing wide open with this set.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that like, I mean, on one hand, it's there's a situation of like, if it's dumb but it works, it's not dumb. But on the other hand, it's like,
this only worked because no reasonable person would ever possibly expect it, and you were lucky they didn't bring a set that could have stopped it. Basically. You know what?
I was debating a whole bunch of different ways that team could have gone. That would have absolutely shut that team down.
Well, and the thing is, like, it's one of those things where I like to think of it as everything in moderation. When you're talking about like avant-garde sets, every once in a while, it can be a good idea to throw one in there just to like mix things up, like catch your opponent off guard. A good example of that, Adam, I'm apologizing in advance, but that Flame Orb Facade Salamence from Santoro Season 1.
Oh no, that was some heat.
That was a really good example. That was a good example of a good avant-garde set.
I'm like, don't you start going into that. That match has yet to be played.
And that avant-garde is an avant-garde set, and it worked but see, the reason these avant-garde sets work is because the person building the set looks at the opponent's team, sees an opening that they can exploit with that set, and utilizes it. And in this example, it was Acheron's, at the time, lack of a ghost type.
And I think that, like, yeah, I can see where you'd be frustrated if you feel like they brought sets that you're like, against most of my team, this is garbage, but like again, in this one niche situation, it worked. Why did you bring this? It's dumb. But like, I don't know. I mean, credit to Eevee in the sense that he did like catch you off guard with something, even if it's frustrating.
Yeah. All the sets I saw, they worked fine. I didn't expect them. Didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. So, shall we move on?
Yep, and now we hit our final match for the Alola International Week 3 coverage, and that is the Brisbane Scythers versus the Seattle Supersonics. The Seattle brought Uxie, Scolipede, Dragonite, Rotom Wash, Houndoom, Megamile. Brisbane brought Toxapex, Ferrothorn, Blacephalon, Tornadus Eye, Zygarde 10%, and Mega Metacham. Oh man, the Ferropex core.
Yep. I will note that Houndoom successfully 1v1'd a Toxapex in this game.
Impressive.
Because, it was because of a flinch. Got lucky there.
Sometimes that's all it takes, though.
Yeah, that's all it takes. But unfortunately, it was Omega's last game controlling this team. He played well. I think he was kind of on the receiving end of some bad luck in games 1 and 3. And game 2 was a little bit rough for him, just playing Adam on, low time and late. But this game was, I think Omega kind of mentioned that he felt like it was kind of decided by a missed Fire Blast at the end. I thought that the difficulty really was that Mega Medicham just went in on this team.
Yeah.
You look at the list there, and it's
And-
just like Mega Medicham just checks things off, especially
Yeah.
if rocks are up and multi-scale is broken on Dragonite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of been the. I was hoping like the one play that didn't really make sense to me. I'm not sure if Omega was trying to bluff the E-Speed, but like he brought in Dragonite into Stealth Rocks, first switch in of the game, on Mega Medicham when Mega Medicham was at about 25%. And when you see that happen, the thought that runs through your head is the E-Speed's coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're about to click E-Speed with this Dragonite and take out this Mega Medicham. But nope. Dragonite just caught an Ice Punch and died.
Sometimes that's the way it goes.
I mean, in a way, I'm looking forward to getting back to using Dragonite because I, for one, have used that mon a ton, and for two, it's just got an interesting move pool to it. And yeah, I want to like use E-Speed, run Band Knight, run Weakness Policy, all the good stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, Omega's had a little bit of trouble running it. I brought this up to Clutch. I was like, I wonder if Omega's Kryptonite is secretly Dragon Flying types because he really couldn't use Salamence. He didn't really get Salamence to work for him last season, and he didn't really get Dragonite to work for him when he was using it with me.
Maybe. So now we're going to move into the free agent transactions. The RDL, I don't think had any. I'm double checking right now to just...
Nah, there weren't any.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And Alola International. Did we cover Adam's trades?
Nope.
Those
Those happened Thursday.
No, they just went in.
All right. So first we'll talk about Adam's trades, and then we'll talk about, even though these aren't effective until week 5, we'll talk about Ace's trades too, since they just happened, and we might as well. Because there's a lot of trades for both these teams. So Adam dropped T-Tar for Hydreigon, dropped Lando Eye for Chandelure, dropped Kyurem for Amoonguss, dropped Drapion for Slowking, dropped Raichu for Electros.
Shout out to my front office, the MagneZOne.
We all had a hand in this. I, in particular, take much pride in convincing him and selling him on the
I think
the regen core.
I think I saw the trades and just hopped in the chat and said, when did this happen?
The bike was indeed sold by Cossack on that regen core.
Wow, that's so amazing. I would have never expected that.
Can we call it Slomungus?
Slomungus.
Oh, that's pretty good.
How about we just call it a king?
How about
a moon king?
But it's a
I like that.
A moon king.
Oh my god.
You must battle a moon king.
Yet, not as good as Ferropex.
Not as good as it doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well as Ferropex.
You just wait.
Interestingly,
I beat Ferropex with this core.
Yeah. Yo.
Just wait. We got these answers.
Yo, I'm interested to see, like, because Tyranitar and Landorus Eye are back on the board now. But, like, Adam, I'd say, like, your team got slower on average with that trade, for sure.
It did. It's also like, a priority God squad, so I mean...
That's true. Priority God squad.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 priority users.
Yeah, you also have a lot of priority on your RDL team. You seem to like your priority.
We've talked about Adam and stacking priority lately.
Yeah.
But like Electros, I like as an ad. Chandelure is interesting. I'm honestly interested to see how you end up using that mon because it's like it's one of my favorites, but it's just kind of weird sometimes. Like if you can get it in for free, it does damage, but like it's got a lot of weaknesses.
What I mentioned because I kind of helped. I'll admit I kind of helped sell him on Chandelure as well because he brought it up and I thought that's actually a good pairing with the Amoonguss Slowking core because Amoonguss can bait the fire moves pretty well, and Chandelure can switch in on those on the predicted fire moves. Which it has flash fire, so it's already boosting its incredibly ridiculous special attack to even greater heights.
And there's also Slowking in the back, so you really don't want to click a fire move if I switch. So Amoonguss can just stay in.
Yeah.
and laugh in your face.
Mungus
Basically.
can stay in.
It makes it really it makes it very bad for you if you click a fire move, because either Slowking switches in and eats it and then like flips it on you with a Scald, or he brings in Chandelure, eats it, takes no damage, and now has a +1 Spatak base
It's also
150.
really nice with the
Yeah.
Mega Caesar.
Yeah,
Also, Infernape and Hydreigon come in pretty much for free on fire moves.
exactly. So you got a lot of like your checks all kind of like balance each other out really well. The typings match up very well on this team. Now, I like it.
I'm feeling these moves a lot more than I was feeling what I had before.
I'll also say, like, I didn't really help sell him per se on Hydreigon. I think I suggested it offhand because I don't remember exactly what he's looking for. I think he's looking for a dark type, and I said Hydreigon, and he's like, because it was on the top of my mind for dark types because I use it in
Hydreigon
the
was
RDL.
actually on my draft board before we even started this season,
Okay.
and I went away from it with Kyurem. But
Well,
I'm back now.
I'm a big fan of Hydreigon. I like Hydreigon.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
enjoying
true.
using it this season, even though I haven't used it that much in the RDL. I do enjoy it. So
Kyurem got snuffed.
Yep. Moving on to Ace. Ace made some moves also. These are effective week 5, so you don't need to worry about them quite yet, but we're reporting on them now because we might as well, because otherwise I think we'll forget, or I'll forget at least, possibly. So he dropped Mega Altaria for Mega Pinsir, Bisharp for Lucario, Archeops for Pyroar, Emboar for Gligar, and Espeon for Azelf.
I call those good moves.
I think those are good moves. I don't like Bisharp.
I'm glad you all like my thoughts.
My sharp is garbage. Change my mind. I dare you.
Well, I could bring in that copy pasta.
I can sucker punch you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bike shirt.
Oh gosh.
Jeez.
That is top tier, by the way. But anyway,
we do need a MagneZOne extra that's just like a 2-minute clip of you reading that while the rest of us just like laugh at the dumb bits. I wish you had recorded the first read through.
That should have been the sound check. That had to have been the sound check.
Actually,
I should have done that.
If
I
only.
apologize.
But yeah, dropping Bisharp for Lucario, that's a huge upgrade at your offensive steel type, I think.
Yeah, Lucario's a great offensive steel type.
Oh, hey, look at Pack's priority that doesn't fail if your opponent doesn't attack. Like,
Yeah.
Nice.
And also it can hit a lot better on both sides of the street than Bisharp can.
that's
Lucario's
true.
one of those things you can kind of play mind games with. And like, this set's really good against them, so they can be prepared for that. So I'll bring the set that's slightly worse. They may not be prepared for it, and then just ruin their day with it.
Yeah, and Luke is good. With what Ace showed in the game this week, I'm like kind of happy these changes aren't going into effect before I have to play him next week, because like I think that if he plays Luke right, it could be really devastating for him.
Especially with
And also-
because like that, I think it forms a nice offensive core with Mega Pinsir. And like Pyroar is a decent pickup here. Gligar is I think Gligar is a really sweet budget pickup for his team, especially now with Lucario and Pyroar on it.
Pyroar's
His
a really
team
interesting.
doesn't really fear ice, which makes Gligar that much better.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So-
I do like Azelf as just in general as a psychic type more than Espeon. That's just my personal opinion though.
Ooh, them's fighting words, but I understand.
Them hot takes from Cossack.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
would agree. I like Azelf more than Espeon.
I've just got some Gen 2 nostalgia is all.
I just like it because it has so many ways you can use it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coverage options.
It's a Swiss
Espeon
Army
is
knife.
definitely more limited than Azelf.
Yeah.
That's not a question.
And Azelf obviously has the higher speed tier and
More coverage.
Well, because Azelf is part of the, as I like to call them, the pseudo pixies, which is Azelf, Uxie, and Mesprit.
The Lake Trio.
Yeah, the Lake Trio. I prefer to call them the pseudo pixies because they're almost pixies, but like they wish they were the pixies, but they just quite reach it.
They're so weird.
Yeah.
They're honestly, there's some. I mean, probably some of the weirder Pokemon designs, like on the other side of Gen 4.
Well, they're
Other
just
than like Castform.
like their stat distribution is
Castform is
odd.
Gen 3.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Is like on
Yeah.
the other side of Gen 4, as in like
Oh.
Like pre-Gen 4.
so.
Yeah.
I mean, because Gen 5 brought us, the literal garbage Pokemon
And the
snow
ice cream cone.
and the ice cream. Respect the ice cream.
That ice cream dirted me out in ladders before, so I no longer make
Respect
fun
the
of
ice
that.
cream.
I no longer make fun of that thing nearly as much as I used to. But anyway, yeah. So those are all the free agent transactions that we have
Wait,
so far.
we did not talk enough about Mega Pinsir.
That's true.
Oh,
We
that's
didn't-
fair. Yeah,
Mega
Mega
Pinsir
Pinsir
is
should
a
not be
mega
discounted.
threat.
That's an upgrade.
I
Well-
think an 100% solo entire
Hey,
team.
wait.
Yeah,
Let's
Mega-
not say upgrade here. Mega Altaria is a threat of its own. Mega Pinsir is just a different threat.
Yeah, I
yeah.
just think that Mega Pinsir is like going to win at preview more often than Mega Alt.
I can say that.
True. Yeah, okay. I can admit to that one.
Yeah, like Mega Pinsir has, well, first of all, because of its ability Aerolate, which is just disgusting.
The high speed here is nice, and just an access test,
Base 155 attack.
which you can boost to the Swords Dance. It's like Aerolate boosted return / thrash.
And you get boosted stab quick attacks that are now flying type quick attacks.
Yep, only flying priority in the game, besides Talonflame.
Or the kind of the cool. I think there's like a really kind of cool pseudo tech. Something like trying to scout. You can run feint,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
and feint
Yeah,
is
you
behind
get
attack.
that even higher priority if you know they're going to run priority.
Neat. But yeah, Mega Pinsir is cool. I mean, like if you want a Mega that's gonna occupy like a key slot in a core, yeah, pick Mega Alt. But if you want something that's gonna be at the back and is gonna be this big threat that comes in and punches holes, Sizzler.
Yeah, if you want something that's gonna put the fear of the Mega into the other
Pinsir,
team.
Mega Pinsir.
Mega Pinsir is
Yep.
ridiculous.
4 hours of physics.
Yay! So now that we've covered Pinsir thoroughly, and I agree that needed to be done because Mega Pinsir cannot be discounted, and if you discount Mega Pinsir at your peril,
You lose.
and it will be your peril.
It will be your peril.
If you don't bring a good Pinsir check, you kind of lose.
Which brings us into our, maybe not so much neatly, but does bring us into our Mon of the Week, which, Sam, why don't you tell the audience at home what our Mon of the Week is?
Oh yeah, as for a Mon that probably isn't checking Mega Pinsir,
No.
unless you scarf it, maybe.
Maybe.
Our Mon of the Week is Hydreigon.
Yes, which we mentioned earlier with the
My boy.
transactions. And I like Hydreigon. I have it in the RDL. Adam likes it because Adam now has it in Alola International.
Oh, I liked it because I played with it and you used it.
Okay, that's fair.
I remember playing with, here, check the nostalgia box again, but like Hydreigon was another, like it was just one of the
Bingo!
cooler, it was one of the cooler designs to come in Gen 5. Like this,
Oh,
It is a pretty sweet
It's
design.
beautiful.
yeah, dark dragon type
Rip.
with levitate.
Have you seen that shiny though?
It's fantastic.
Green.
Shiny is next level.
Mhm. Yeah, no, but it's like I think there's a lot of cool aspects to Hydreigon. It's got a lot of weaknesses. It's got a little bit of a weird speed tier that leaves it on the low side of the 100s, but also the dual stab is pretty fantastic. It hurts a little bit, because of the introduction of fairies, but
Yeah, it kind of doesn't.
The pseudo legend bulk is there.
mhm. Yep.
Mhm.
And the
92,
fun,
90, 90.
yeah, that's the funny thing about Hydreigon is that I just made that comment about like if I want a Pokemon to operate in my core as opposed to kind of at the end as my win con, I would pick Mega Alt over Mega Pinsir. And Hydreigon is something that it actually kind of almost fills a similar role to Mega Alt sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's pretty much
it can
Mega
actually
Alt
be-
without setup.
It can be a pivot. It can be like it can sit at the center of your team and fire off big moves. It carries a whole bunch of coverage. It's got an odd typing.
It has
and it
U-turn.
Yep. And it's got
The
physical and
fast
special
taunt.
side to it.
Well, the thing that I find interesting a lot of times is from what I've been able to tell, a lot of the time people prep mostly for special attack Hydreigon, which is fine. It makes sense because its special attack is a full 20 points higher than its regular physical attack, but its physical attack is base 105.
That's very respectable.
You can run this as a mixed attacker or as just a straight up physical attacker and catch people off guard. It works.
And I think what you got to look at when you're looking at Hydreigon is like, there's a lot of utility to Hydreigon as well. Access to taunt is extremely useful.
Yep.
A defogger. It has reliable recovery in roost. Thunderwave is a fantastic option. Like
Thunderwave is 90% a fantastic option.
True. It can be this bulky beast as well. It's got a lot of options.
Yeah.
To go with the fact that it has a very nice special.
Well, I remember the first Hydreigon set I ever ran was against Meta this season, and I ran this weird, dumb Charge Beam set. That who was it that put that cockamamie set together? It wasn't me. I think it was Sam who put that.
Oh, it was totally me. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you with the caveat that maybe you shouldn't use this, but maybe you should.
And I'm like, bulk? Yes, let's do it. And it ended up working out for me because clicking sub is basically what won me that game. And
it's a great sub
but
user.
I do also remember that entire time looking at Dragon Pulse and wishing as hard as I could that it would just magically change to Dark Pulse.
Yeah,
I think it can be a decent Z user as well. It's like Z Draco is really cool. It can be a Z Belch. I think is one of my favorite tech Hydreigon sets.
That would be really cool.
Because let me send it in this fairy type, and if they're not fast,
and maybe it hits a Mega Gardevoir. Hint, hint.
Yeah. I mean,
you slap a Z Belch into the face of a Mega Gardevoir or a Clef.
Yeah, definitely. And Levitate is great because it's not getting hit by those earthquakes. It's
never hurts to have an extra immunity.
Yeah, well, and then as we established, it also doesn't get caught by Arena Trap. So
that too.
Yeah, what's interesting, and it can catch fairies on the physical side as well because it gets Iron Tail.
Yep.
Z Belch is an Oko to Fizdef Clefable.
Wow.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oof.
Who has Clefable again?
Glyphscore. In AI, at least.
All grounded, I'm coming for you.
Too bad your Hydreigon isn't a Z captain.
Not too late.
Hear that?
Wait, I still have my...
Your Z refund.
What would you really?
Why are we not calling them Z funds?
Z funds. But if you're not Z Mimikyu, what are we even doing? What are you even doing?
That sounds like a specialty thing at a Pokemart. Just
absolutely.
Come on down and get your Z funds. Guaranteed Z fund on any appliance purchase within the next 30 days.
There you go. And then the appliances turn out to be Rotom forms. Surprise. Yo, can we talk about how Clefable is free in RDL right now?
What?
Yep. No one drafted it. Azu and Clef are still both on the tier 1 board.
Well, the thing with Clef is that Clef has to have a good core backing it. Clef doesn't really stand on its own on most teams.
It can,
but
I mean, it kind of can with Cosmic Power. I'm thinking 1v1 an entire team.
Well, yeah. Anyways, we're talking about Hydreigon, right?
Yeah.
Yep, true.
But yeah, I think that's the thing that Hydreigon's weird, but good weird, and because fast taunt's great, Roost is great, and the reason that I think it's a underrated pick and draft occasionally is because often it's just a fantastic tier 2. You see it go early in a lot of drafts.
Yep. I picked it up in round 3. I want to say.
Yep. And that's
I'm amazed I got it in free agency.
Yeah, there's always power left on the board somewhere, but the thing is that Hydreigon is it's an early pick for good reason because it's it's funny. I mean, and also it's like it's a fantastic Z user. It also appreciates like Specs and Scarf and
I think the thing with
potentially.
Hydreigon is like you get caught into ruts with it really easily. But I feel like and I feel like it's one of those things that's really hard not to run Scarf on sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Just
Yeah.
because
Honestly-
of its bizarre speed tier.
And the thing is that when you run Scarf on this thing, you miss the power that you could get
Yeah.
from another item.
Specs or Life Orb or
Well,
something like
and like I will say the other nice thing about Hydreigon is it's probably one of the best Cresselia checks. It's one of the best out of the box Cresselia checks.
Until you catch that Moonblast.
I
It's
mean,
a-
yeah.
it's a good stop to most bulky psychics.
It's a good dark type.
Yeah,
well,
it is.
Well,
The
because
fantastic dark
It's
type.
a dark type.
well, like Choice Specs Hydreigon, like Dark Pulse from Choice Specs Hydreigon, 2-hit KOs every single Cresselia set.
It probably 2-hit KOs most, like, every
Not
bulky
max-
psychic, right?
Not Max Bedef Assault Vest though.
Well,
LOL.
okay, except for that one. But if they're running Assault Vest on their Cresselia, then
That's a bad set. Like every
that
time.
means they're not moonlighting. You'll be fine. It also means they're not calm minding, which is also good.
It's a
So,
it's a nice.
and it's
2-hit
also
KO.
not dumping toxic on you. So like the three main things that people have problems with Cresselia about aren't on Assault Vested Cresselia.
Does Cresselia even have 4 attacking moves? I've only ever seen Icy Wind, Psychic, and Shadow Ball.
It
Does
gets
it need anything else?
Moonblast.
It gets really.
Oh, it gets
solid
Moonblast.
It
You're
gets
right.
Signal Beam. You know, so I can
But
kill Celebi or something.
Anyway, we were talking about Hydreigon, and I mean, now it's my turn to bring people back on track.
Fair enough.
We can talk
So-
about
Fill out
Crest
your
another
bingo
time.
boards.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, definitely not the first time we've gone off track on something like this. It also gets Flash Cannon. This Hydreigon does,
Yes, it does.
which is
There's-
really
yeah.
sweet.
Plenty of ways to catch dragons off, or sorry, not dragons, fairies off guard.
Oh yeah,
Which it kind of desperately needs with that
Yeah.
quad.
Especially,
On the
especially
break-
But it doesn't have
it'd be
its.
cool like Gen 5. Just because Fairy type didn't exist.
Huh?
It was nicer in Gen 5 when Fairy type didn't exist.
On the bright side, at least it has a quad that is not targetable with HP fire. Or sorry, with HP just in general. Like,
It didn't
Yeah.
have-
Really, HP Fire isn't Hydreigon's quad?
nope.
I didn't know this one at all. I don't know mines.
You just
everything
gotta
I
keep
knew about
listening
the
to
type
mistakes.
interactions is wrong. All right,
It's
well,
Try Attack. Yo,
N-
that'd
now
be some
that
attack.
now that we've established once more 4 hours of physics, I think that might be time to wrap this up. I think we've waxed poetic enough about this fantastic mon that you should totally
It's-
pick up.
It's very good. Let me go to bed.
Ooh.
All right, if only so we can give Sam the merciful slumber he so richly deserves. Until next time, we'll see ya. May you have good luck in your battles and better luck in your drafts. Peace.